Hello, any first grade parents? We are just about to get ready to start our meeting. So welcome, and I hope you're not having any technical difficulties. We have monitors to help us keep going, and then you'll be hearing from all the first grade team in just a few minutes.
You guys look like you're ready.
Yeah, we have started the meeting. We're live. We're just waiting.
We're just giving folks a few minutes to
get
come
started.
on board.
Great. All right. I'll be back in a few.
All right.
Thanks.
So Nottingham parents, if you are looking for the first grade back to school night, you're in the right place. We're just going to give folks a couple minutes to log on, then we'll start with the welcome from the principals. And then we'll turn it over to the first grade team. All right, so just to honor everyone's time, I think we'll go ahead and get started, and we're going to start with the welcome message from the principals, and then we'll move on.
We don't seem to have sound on the video.
Perhaps someone needs to unmute.
Yeah, let me try that again.
Okay.
So sorry. All right, let's see if this works. everybody, and welcome to the 2021 Nottingham Back to School Night. I'm Eileen Gardner, Nottingham's principal. A special welcome to our kindergarten families and those who've joined us from around the world, the country, and even in Virginia, who are new to Nottingham. It's a great place for your children to learn, thanks to our great staff and all of you. We really appreciate everyone's patience and perseverance as we return to in-person learning. Thank you for your never-ending kind words, support, and feedback as we work out the kinks and issues to make sure everyone's set up for success. Teachers did take some time this summer for some rest and relaxation, and they've come back more rejuvenated and energetic than ever. Teacher teams have collaborated closely with our coaches and instructional support staff to provide you with consistent quality instruction to make sure that your children are in great hands. We are acutely aware that the social emotional needs of our students need to be addressed. Weekly lessons with our counselors, as well as individual and small group support, are available throughout the year. Please don't hesitate to reach out to our fabulous support staff. Mark Jones and Kellen Bisbee, our counselors, Maggie Ryan, our social worker, or Maggie DeSira, our school psychologist, who are more than happy to help you address the social, emotional, or mental health needs of your students. The Office of Academics has been working closely with our teachers to determine how we can do beginning of year assessments, including reading, math, and writing. Fall SOL testing will be used as a brief, informative, low-stakes measure of how students are doing. Please stay tuned as we learn more about the assessments, how they'll be implemented, and when. More information will be included in the nightly news next week. For those of you who may not know this yet, the nightly news is a weekly communication from me that comes out every Tuesday with important dates, information, and updates. As we have each year, we will strive to uphold the elements of the APS School Board strategic goal, providing multiple pathways to success for all students, making sure students are healthy, safe, and supported, retaining our staff, ensuring operational excellence, and supporting strong community partnerships. Please continue to give us feedback about how your children are doing, and so we can adjust and partner with you to ensure engagement, excitement, and energy. I'd like to recognize the Nottingham PTA for their support. I encourage those of you who are new to Nottingham to find a place within its structure to get plugged in. We truly appreciate all your support. Thank you to our PTA President, Danielle Herndon, and the rest of the PTA Executive Board for all you do. We'll have our first PTA meeting tonight at 8 p.m. using the link provided. Please join us this month and every month at these very informative meetings. The link is also provided to you in the chat. On the agenda tonight is a welcome from our assistant principal, Dr. Megan Lynch, a message from Mr. Mark Jones, one of our counselors. And after that, you'll hear directly from the PTA president, Danielle Herndon, and then the moment you're waiting for, a chance to hear from the teaching teams directly. Each team will present just once this evening. Feel free to bounce in and out of the grade level meetings as you'd like. All of our presentations tonight will be posted to our website for you to view at your leisure. Our teachers, myself, Megan, and the rest of our support staff are always here to answer any questions that you have or to provide guidance or support in any way. I won't keep you any longer. Please enjoy your time this evening, and we look forward to seeing everyone in person at our outdoor ice cream social on this Friday, September 10th, from 3:45 to 5:45. Have a great evening, and we'll see you again at 8 o'clock for the PTA meeting. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Megan Lynch, assistant principal here. Welcome to Back to School Night. I'm so glad you could join us virtually. This year, Arlington Public Schools will continue to focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion as one of their initiatives. This pairs nicely with Nottingham's work as an inclusive model site and as a participant at the No Place for Hate school. We will continue to build a safe, welcoming community that values all learners and promotes equity and cultural competency. This year, look out for opportunities to engage with us on this topic. Starting this month with Latinx Heritage Month on September 15th and diving on into the rest throughout the year. Look out for messages in Eileen's weekly and nightly news and the students on their news broadcast on Fridays, nights at 9. We'll be sharing more information with you and with your students as the year goes on, and we look forward to continuing this important work. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or give me a call. Thanks so much. Bye.
Hi, my name is Mark Jones. I'm the full-time school counselor at Nottingham. Kellen Bisbee is is also a school counselor at Nottingham, and she works at Nottingham on Tuesdays. So the role of a school counselor in an elementary school is to promote and teach social emotional skills. We do that primarily in 3 different ways. One is we go into each of the classrooms on a regular basis, teaching such things as identifying emotions, regulating uncomfortable big emotions like anger and worry and sadness, teaching about bullying prevention, teaching about how to make friends, how to keep friends, and other topics. We also meet with students individually if they want to have a conversation and counseling on a topic involving social emotional skills. They can refer themselves. You can refer your child to us, or a teacher may refer a student to us. And the third category after teaching classes and individual counseling is group counseling. Group counseling is with 3, 4, 5, 6 students. Might be at lunch, or it might be during the school day at a time agreed to by the teacher. And it's small group counseling on the topics that we cover typically in the lessons, social emotional skills. I'm also happy, as is Ms. Bisbee, to consult with you on some problem solving if you're having some challenges or your child is, and we can help you sort of talk through that and see if we can come up with some solutions. The Nottingham school website has a counseling tab, which has lots of information, and I encourage you to look at that. Contact information is there, among other things, and we have a virtual calming room, which is for families, students, and staff. So check it all out. Hope to meet you soon. Bye.
Hi, Knights. My name is Danielle Herndon, and I am your PTA president. It's such a joy to serve our students, teachers, and families alongside an awesome team of parents on our executive board. Like you, we are thrilled to have our kids back in school 5 days a week, and we have all kinds of things planned to make it a great year. Since we have been apart for a while, and there are lots of new faces at our school, one of the key goals for the PTA this year is going to be connecting and uplifting our community through programs that promote enrichment, engagement, education, and fun. To make this happen, we need your help in 3 simple ways. First, join the PTA. Did you know that your PTA membership expires every year in the summertime? So you got to go to nespta.org and sign up. As a member, you will have access to the newsletter, digital calendar, online directory, spiritware store, and so much more. If you want to be in the know, this is the way to go. Second, volunteer. There are so many easy ways to help out. Take a few minutes to think about what you enjoy, what you're good at, and what makes you smile. Then, when you renew your PTA membership, fill out the volunteer form to let us know how you would like to help. Some tasks may take just a few minutes. Others could be longer-term projects. Every little bit of elbow grease makes a big difference. Plus, it's a great way to get to know people at the school. Third, chip in with cash. It takes a good amount of money to fund all the programs at the PTA supports, like STEAM enrichment, school assemblies, teacher education grants, family fun nights, classroom supplies, staff and teacher appreciation, maintaining the exploration courtyard, sock hop, Mayfest, field trips, technology grants, and more. Your financial generosity is what makes these programs happen, and there are all kinds of ways you can donate. From designating Nottingham as your charity of choice at the grocery store or on Amazon, to buying spiritware, books at the book fair, or something great at the auction. It's easy to give. I hope you'll join us tonight at 8 p.m. on Zoom to learn more about the PTA and how you can get involved. We welcome input from all members, and I promise it won't be boring. Everyone who attends will be entered to win a free Nottingham t-shirt from our spiritware collection. And I look forward to seeing everyone at the all-school ice cream social tomorrow after school. We're going to have a great year night. And please remember, the PTA will be there for you.
We're here to tell you all about the PTA. A lead the school night roll you should join today. So many different ways to volunteer. Since we're back in school each day, we need your help to have a great year. And we'll be there for you. The PTA is the way. We'll be there for you. To help learning and playing, we'll be there for you. 'Cause we all love this school.
All right, that was an incredible PTA presentation. I've never before seen such a great PTA intro. So friends, as questions arise, put them in the chat and then we will address them at the end, kind of gather the like questions and we'll be able to answer them then. So we're going to start with Meet the Team. I am Marianne Costa. I have been on the Nottingham first grade team for, I don't know, 8 years maybe. Previously taught fourth grade here at Nottingham. I'm a Nottingham lifer. My children went to this school and I started teaching as a second career after my kids were kind of out of Nottingham. But I love first grade. It's the funnest grade to teach because the kids are adorable, they're eager to learn, and you see tremendous growth through the year. So next I want to introduce my colleague, Ms. Gargano.
Good evening, first grade families. My name is Leah Gargano. I am so happy that you were able to join us this evening virtually. Just like Marianne said, we are so excited to be here. My first grade class is the American Eagles, so if you hear us around Nottingham or after school, they are the Eagles. We are so happy to be back in person, and first grade is such a special and wonderful year because they do grow so much in terms of academics as well as socially and emotionally. It is just fantastic and we're ready to have a great year. Next up, I'm going to introduce my other colleague, Ms. Tori Weiss.
Hi all, my name is Tori Weiss. I am a first grade teacher this year at Nottingham. This is my first year at Nottingham, but my 5th or 6th year in APS. I am so thrilled to be here and really excited to be teaching first grade. I have had a few years of experience with first grade and just agree completely with my teammates that the growth, the excitement for learning, and the hands-on engagement that first graders get to experience is truly so much fun and makes for just a great year of learning. So my classroom we are the Wildflowers, and I would like to introduce Ms. Lewin.
Hi everyone, I'm Dina Lewin. I am a special education teacher that's supporting kindergarten and first grade this year. It's my second year supporting these two grades. Prior to that, I was in third grade. And prior to Nottingham, I worked in the middle school environment. So kind of been all over the place. I do love the little guys most though, so I'm super excited to be able to work with first grade again.
All right, so in Nottingham, and certainly in first grade, we use responsive classroom as kind of our guiding philosophy for our classroom. And this is really a approach that works not only on academic growth, but also the social emotional component of learning. We begin every day with a morning meeting to foster our community, and the meeting is a fun time just to be together as a group. We greet each other, so everyone's name is said several times every day. I can report that at least in the pastas, they're already learning pretty much everyone's name, which is pretty good for, I don't know how many days we've had of school, 6 or 7. But the greeting is followed by sharing. This is usually either sharing everyone's opinion about something or sharing a story. We don't do a show and tell kind of sharing for the most part. Then we do an activity that could be a go noodle, something to get us up and moving, or it might be a quick game that we play. And then finally, we read together our morning message, which is an interactive activity that the students can either physically write something on the message or respond verbally. So those are the 4 components of the morning meeting that start our day. And we have been working and are still in the process of creating our rules for our classrooms right now, but it's all based on the students coming up with ideas of how they can best fulfill their hopes and dreams for the year, what they want to achieve in first grade. And we usually kind of boil it down to a couple of big ideas, which is, you know, to be fair, to be kind and caring, and to be safe. And safety, of course, is a big one this year. We're really working with the first graders on keeping their personal space, keeping their masks on, and I got to say they're doing a super job of keeping their masks on, and just making sure that, you know, they want to hug each other, they want to get close, and we just try and remind them that we're trying to keep a little personal space.
Okay, everyone. So not only do we have a lot of learning inside our individual classrooms, students also have the fantastic opportunity to go to their specials classes. Those special classes include art, physical education, music, and then library once a week. Our specials time is from 1:20 to 2:30 every day, and students will attend 2 specials a day unless they have art once a week for that whole entire block. The students always look forward to that time to be creative, get their bodies moving, and it is definitely a highlight in our first grade schedule.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and explain a little bit about our language arts block. It's a really rich block, and first grade is such a impactful year for students to learn reading and to really start applying the skills that they have been developing in kindergarten. So our literacy block has a structured literacy approach. We use Haggerty, which is a phonics and kind of like word game program. The kids have a lot of fun with that. We are currently doing that outside right now in the courtyard. We are also using 95%, which is a phonics program. And this is also very hands-on and helps kids stretch out sounds, helps students form letters, write letters correctly. And it is using Alconin boxes to break sounds down and works on syllables. We are also using reading resources such as Lexia and, of course, our classroom libraries, as well as the Nottingham Library, where we are working on comprehension skills as well as decoding skills. And then additionally, we're doing small group work, which is where we pull small focus groups to target a certain skill, whether it be reading, decoding, or comprehension, or just expanding thoughts on read aloud perhaps or a book. We are really pushing this year to help kids stretch out their sounds. That 95% phonics program really works on that. So we encourage you to help them with that at home if they're ever writing. Make sure that what we're using is we will say a word, so cat, for example, and then as they're writing it, we ask that they sound it out. So they should go cat. So they're writing each letter as they stretch it out. Feel free to ask us any questions if you have any.
Up next is math, and in math we also follow that workshop model where students will, have a bunch of choices in front of them and they get to choose what activities they're going to do. But we of course have our mini lessons, and then we will analyze and see what skills are being met and what students might need a little bit of extra support in. So as you can see on the screen, these are some of the topics that we hit on during the year. We have numbers to 110. Beginning of the year, we're working on numbers 0 to 30. We hit on time and calendar, addition and subtraction up to 20, money, their values, identifying the coins, even grouping them, adding them up together, geometry, fractions, so equal share for fractions, 1/2, 4/4, that's as heavy as we'll get with fractions, collecting data in graphs, charts, measurement. And then we also use some math resources in the classroom as well. Besides our workshop, the games that we introduce, the materials we have in class, they do use Dreambox on the iPad, and then we will be doing some of the work in Seesaw for them to take pictures of what they're doing independently and upload it into that Seesaw account.
All right, and then we also squeeze in some science and social studies. To begin with, we've really focused on social studies, mostly what we call our citizenship unit. Learning to be good citizens is part of being a part of a community and contributing to that community, whether it's your community in the classroom, the school, or Arlington, or beyond. And so that's our first unit. We also talk about map skills a little later on, including the cardinal directions, northeast, south, and west. We learn about some important Virginians that they will learn a little deeper when they get to 4th grade Virginia history, but we introduce some of the important Virginians like Chief Powhatan, Pocahontas, Captain Christopher Newport, and then, of course, some of our Virginians who helped establish the country, like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. We focus on a lot of holidays and traditions, both through social studies and through literature. That crosses nicely with the two areas. And we, in science, try and do a lot. We're excited that we can do a lot more hands-on science this year. We really missed that last year. So we'll probably begin with exploring fall and the weather, and then move into plants and animals, and then matter and earth and space systems. And usually we finish up with force and motion and energy.
Now, to move away from the curriculum a little bit, during our day, of course, we have lunch, recess, and snack. We'll just quickly go through those routines so you know what's happening in school, and then you can reinforce some of that at home. So before any meal, we wash our hands with soap and water in the classroom. We are so lucky that we have a bathroom in our class with a sink, and then we have an additional sink. So 2 sinks to get all those germs off of our hands. When weather permits, we will be eating outside most days. Thank you to the families that have sent in their 1st grader with an old towel or blanket. They've been eating either on the grass or on the blacktop out back. So having that picnic towel, if the grass is a little damp or it might be hot, is a really great tool to have. 1st grade eats lunch all together. And then after lunch, students head over to the playground equipment where they have their recess. Now, lunch and recess is all together for 1st grade. So the 3 1st grade classes are eating together and having recess. If we do have inclement weather, which could possibly happen, the plan is to be spaced out in the cafeteria. What that means is the cafeteria spaces, they have the shields around them, and students will be grouped by how they're sitting in their classrooms. That way, you know, if anything happens, we have that information. For recess, if inclement weather, we will have indoor recess with some materials in our classroom. That can be Go Noodle, some free draw. We also have some hands-on manipulatives that they can use for some creative thinking. And then at 2:30, when we transition back from their specials, we have snack time. Snack time, just like lunch and recess, is happening outside on most days. We are so lucky that our classroom leads out into the courtyard, so that's where we've been having our snack. Please send in one snack each day. It is a quick break for them to get fueled, relax a little bit before we jump into our math workshop.
Great. I would love to talk to you about our iPad usage. I know that a lot of us had a ton of exposure to iPads last year. We're certainly hoping to lessen that this year. But we will still be using iPads every day. So please do send them in charged, and please send them to school every day. I know we've been sending some communication home about them coming back and forth every day, and that's just to be prepared. Additionally, we would love if you could send in headphones with your child if possible. If you don't have any, please just let us know, because some of the programs that they use are loud and can be a little distracting if not everybody is using the iPad at the same time. The use that we implement in our classroom for the iPads is Dreambox, which is a math program, Lexia Core 5, which is a reading support program, and Seesaw to create a portfolio of work. We are very intentional with the way that we use iPads, especially this year. I know it's on top of mind for a lot of us. We are very aware that we want to make sure that the kids are using them appropriately and making sure that it's an impactful use for them. I did see there was a question, I think, about how much iPads are being used. If we didn't fully cover that, please feel free to let us know during the Q&A. Oh, yeah, okay. Q&A, oh, great. I just noticed another question about the iPads and how they're supposed to function at home.
I can take that, Ms. Weiss. For the most part, we won't be using iPads at home. We do want the students to take them home every day just in case something happens. So they will be able to access, at the very least, the Dreambox and Lexia programs for practice. But our goal is not for the iPads to be used at home, just to take them home and charge them and send them back, and then we will use them for those quick programs as part of our workshop in math and reading.
I think I
Hi,
saw.
everyone. Would you like me to just go ahead and moderate another question? Okay. So it looks like we got the iPads covered. If there is anything further, you can post again another question in the chat, but I think the teachers covered the use of iPads and, of course, their role being mainly at school and only being charged at home. There was one other question for first grade teachers, and that was about tell us about the duration or how many lessons Mr. Jones is planning on giving this year. So would that be once a week or every other week? Can you speak to that, please?
We are actually meeting with Mr. Jones early next week to work on that schedule. But in past years, he has come in, I think, every other week. But, you know, also he provides us with resources to use in the classroom. And our responsive classroom model is also really focused on the social emotional well-being of the child. So getting to know each child well and what they need is just a huge part of what we do every day.
Great, thank you. I hope that answers the question. Soon we'll find out more about specifics about the schedule with Mr. Jones. And it looks like we did have another iPad question. Basically, it's talking about any restrictions on what website or apps can be accessed on the iPad. Would anyone like to speak to that about the maybe the just the main apps that you might be using? Or
I can speak to that. Sorry, Miss Weiss. So we, of course, use the Dreambox, Lexia, and Seesaw. Students do have access to some other apps, such as Brain Pop, and I know that they can check out the weather apps. So there's a lot of different places that they can explore. For restrictions, I believe that they do not have access to YouTube or any of those websites, especially browsing through the internet. We don't teach them how to do that. We don't give them access to that in the class. We specifically focus on logging in through Clever, so then they can access Dreambox, Lexia, Seesaw. So those are those main applications that they will be using.
great. So hopefully those questions are getting answered out there. I'll just continue to, looks like a lot of questions have come in, so I'm just taking some notes right now. So there was a two-part question, and it was speaking or asking about, will there be any homework and field trips this year? So maybe that could be two different people, or if you want to go ahead and take that for one person. So homework and field trips.
I'll take that. Field trips, I don't think so. We have not heard anything about field trips. We certainly have not scheduled any. I'm guessing that's not going to be on the schedule, but if we can, we will certainly try if we can do it safely. Homework, our homework in first grade is generally reading. We would like students reading for 20 minutes each night. That can be a parent reading to a child. That can be reading to a little sibling. That can be just looking at a picture book. We just want to start developing that habit of enjoying reading for pleasure.
Great, thank you so much, teachers. So it looks like we're just going to continue with that homework piece, and at field trips at this time, we're just going to kind of hold off and see where it goes. We had a specific question about the Sprout supply kit, and the question was, did they come with headphones?
No, they did not come with headphones.
Okay. So I'll just go into a logistical question, and this was mainly to do with dismissal. So for example, if a parent had a child in extended day, but during a certain day, they might be picking them up or they might be going home another way, who do they contact or notify? What is the best way to get the communication there?
I can take this one. So if there's any dismissal changes, please email the classroom teacher as soon as you know about this dismissal change. As you know, we don't have access to our computers all day. We don't actively check our emails during the school day. So the latest that we would like to get an email if there's a change is between 12 and 1. That way we can check it during our planning time or during our lunch time. Now, if you have a last minute dismissal change, please email us still, but also call the main office. That way they can call us through our classroom phones. We'll pick that up right away and we'll be able to communicate that information with your child. Now, I also see that how you will be picking them up, if either they're a walker or you're driving them, we dismiss for those friends that are walking or driving out on the kindergarten blacktop.
Great, thank you so much. So I think so far we've covered everything. Looks like, oh, one other question came in. This one I'm just reading. Okay, so this one has mainly to do with lunch, maybe a logistical question about eating. So it seems as if their child is having so much fun at school, they're just forgetting to eat. So we're looking at a possibility of, can we have the first 10 minutes where everyone sits and eats, or is this a choice? Tell us how that would work.
I can go ahead and take that one. This is Ms. Weiss. Great question. So teachers are not, the classroom teachers are not out there monitoring lunch. That is other adults that are doing that. However, this is a really, really important question, and we of course want to make sure all the kids are eating and feeling energized. So I think that is an important conversation for us to have with the kids. Logistically, I believe they are to finish their lunch before they go to recess. And in fact, I believe that there are other students on the playground, so they shouldn't be going to the playground equipment until they are dismissed by the adults that are out there. So that sounds like maybe something that we can have a conversation with the students as well as the adults who are monitoring recess. But 10 minutes where everybody sits and eats is definitely an important time. And we'll make sure we'll double check with that.
Great, thank you so much, Ms. Weiss. So this,
I'm sorry, Ms. Solar. Just to add on, they have 20 minutes to eat. So hopefully, they can talk to people nearby, but hopefully in that 20 minutes, they're able to eat the majority of their lunch.
Great, thank you so much, teachers, for clarifying all that so everyone stays healthy. So we had a little more logistical question about dismissal, and we're wondering, can an older sibling pick up a student at dismissal?
I believe the rule is that it's a third grade or above student may pick up a sibling with previous, prior parental notice. So if a parent notifies us that an older sibling, third grade or above, will be picking up the sibling, then we are allowed to do that.
Great. So they would just send that in an email to the homeroom teacher as soon as they would know, just like any kind of other logistical change or specifics.
Yep.
Great.
Great.
Thank you so much. So it looks like we may have a question, and I'm not sure if this has to do exactly with the Sprout Supply Kit or just a general question about headphones. And this would be, what headphones should we buy? Is there a specific brand most comfortable or that you recommend?
So I think we would all just encourage any headphones that are comfortable for the student and stay on. Stay connected. I think that, the past year we've had a lot of exposure to different types of headphones and all that. So just whatever works best for them is great. And we would be happy to have any headphones in the classroom. So whatever works for them.
Great, thank you so much. So I'm just going to jump into another question, and they just keep coming in. So I'm just going to keep going. I hope this is answering everybody's questions. So this one has to do with items being sent home, specifically loose papers that are sent home. So what I'm seeing is that what the parent may want to know is that, are there any books that are being brought home that can give them more insight into what their their child is learning about, and this is particularly in science?
I can try and tackle that one. We do not have a science text. Our science instruction is based on experience in the classroom. We observe and we record information, and we try and fulfill the role of scientists. in terms of papers coming home, there should be every Friday or whatever the last day of the week is, a blue folder that comes home containing any work that has been checked by the teacher. Sometimes you will also find in there random drawings that maybe they worked on at quiet time or something. But most of the work in the blue folder has been checked. Unless you have a note from the teacher, that work should stay at home. If it looks like it's not finished, that might be okay. It might be something that we just didn't have time to do the whole sheet that day. So unless you see a specific note from your child's teacher, just assume that the teacher has seen the work and is sending it home just for you to see what is going on.
Great, thank you so much. So teachers, we have a couple questions about items that need to come to school and exactly where it would be best to pack those. So for example, there's a question about snack. Is it best to be in the lunchbox, or would you suggest a different space or place in their backpack?
So I think that we would encourage the students to place their snack in another place in their backpack, only because we're worried that they'll eat it with their lunch. And then when it is snack time, because we have snack time after lunch, they won't have anything to eat. But if you know your child and you know that they are going to remember that that's the snack, that's, I think, completely fine with all of us. We just want to make sure that they don't accidentally eat that snack during lunchtime. So a system that works for you.
Great, thanks so much, teachers. So it looks like parent guardians, we are thinking that just in case we don't want to get that item eaten, it might be better in a different place. Thanks, Ms. Weiss. And what about sunscreen? Teachers, is that something that you're asking to come to school? How can you best answer that question?
I don't believe that we are permitted to put sunscreen on children. So if you would like your child to have sunscreen, you should put it on in the morning for sure. And then, maybe if you instruct them on how to reapply, if you're worried about that. We do go out. Our lunch is at about 11 and our recess is immediately following that. So not the brightest part of the day, but nonetheless, it's good practice to start wearing sunscreen early. So, but we can't put it on them here.
Great, thank you so much for your detailed answers, teachers. We do have a question about library books, and just to find out, when do they need to come back to school?
So I can answer this one. I'm Nicole Gustafson. I'm the librarian. And, in general, we have library once a week. And so if the students are finished with their books, we would love for them to bring them back on their library day so that they can exchange them for some new ones. But the official checkout period is 2 weeks. And of course, if they need the books longer than that, they're welcome to keep them as long as they need them. So we are really pretty flexible on that, and as long as they're actively using them, we're happy for them to keep them as long as they need to.
Great, thank you so much, Ms. Gustafson. So it looks like library books will just mainly come back on their library day. We also have a question going back to that Sprout supply kit. Any suggestions, teacher, on how someone can order that because they seem to be out of stock online? Any suggestions you might have that can be helpful for that Sprout supply kit, please?
I believe the supply kit needed to be ordered last spring, and they don't take orders in the fall. So the list of supplies is available on the PTA website. So, or just ask your teacher what they might need. We do have some extra supplies from previous years. So, for example, we don't need more pocket folders and things like that. So, yeah, I'm sorry it's hard for new students. They miss out on that ordering of the Sprout supply kit, but it doesn't really matter. You know, any supplies are fine, and we distribute them to all the children. So nobody will feel like left out that they didn't get the Sprout kit.
So thank you so much, Ms. Costa. It looks like Danielle Herndon has also given some detailed answers about the Sprout supply kit must be ordered by that deadline in the summer. So we'll just make sure to cue you into those reminders about those deadlines to order so we can get a handle on that. Great. I'm just continuing to check teachers in a couple different places. I am not seeing any new questions. Sometimes, everyone, I hope you can understand, if you ask a question, we may not know the answers as the art, librarian, special ed, and first grade team. It might need to come from our administration, so we can always get back to you, and we may not know that answer immediately. So we thank you so much for your patience, and we will go ahead and make sure we immediately talk to our administration if there are questions in the chat that we may simply not have the answer to right now, but we will make sure and get those questions to the administration to follow up with you. Thank you so much for understanding.
I noticed that Ms. Herndon put another message in the chat that they actually ordered 2 kits. So if there's someone that needs a second one, it may be in the classroom. So that Sprout kit may be available for someone else.
Okay, I'm just continuing to check. There may be one more. All right, I don't see any other questions at this time.
Sarah, there's one that just popped in about volunteers in the building.
Go right ahead.
So it says, now that APS is allowing volunteers back in the building, is there anything that you all need, or are there opportunities for us to come in and help you?
I can answer that one. This is Ms. Weiss. What a great question. We love having volunteers. We love seeing families in the building. I do believe there are still some, I don't want to say restrictions, but I know that APS is making sure that they're taking their safety carefully and making sure that it's not just like a doors wide open, everyone can come in. So we can check with admin to make sure exactly what the protocol is for having volunteers back in the classroom. However, I know as a team we were discussing having a mystery reader. We were planning on sending a sign up genius home, and we found that it was really, really great to allow mystery readers or guest readers to come in virtually. And I think that that is a wonderful opportunity for families that maybe can't physically come into the classroom to volunteer and participate in the classroom virtually. So do be on the lookout for a link coming home from your teacher with a sign up for a virtual read aloud, virtual guest reader. And we will absolutely check on when we can have volunteers back in the building, in the classrooms, and get back to you. We'll of course let you know right when that's a possibility.
Great, thank you so much, Ms. Weiss, and all the teachers, everybody participating. Thank you, parents, for all of your thoughtful, meaningful questions. It looks like I don't see any coming in. Anyone else? Ms. Gustafson? I don't see any at this time.
I think there was one question earlier that we might have missed about whether or not PE could be done outside. And I'm not sure if I know the answer to that, but I do know that recess and lunch are outside. And so while one class is having PE, another class might be having lunch. And so I think there might be some scheduling issues with that. But first grade teachers, if you have any more insight on that to add, please feel free.
Well, I will make sure to speak with admin about the question, and so we can, get a more detailed answer. But I think Ms. Gustafson is, giving an answer that I think is probably what we're looking at is scheduling, and that some classes will be permitted outside during that time. But we can look into that further.
That is all of the questions that I see in the chat. I did want to just remind everyone about the PTA meeting that is on Zoom right after this. That's going to be at 8 o'clock, and that link is in the chat. If you scroll way back up to the beginning of the chat, you'll see that link there where you can get that Zoom link for the meeting. Ms. Weiss, did you have another announcement about things coming up?
We also just wanted to mention again that ice cream social at 3:45 tomorrow, and that will be on the, did we say the K Blacktop area? Is that what we were thinking? I believe that's right. Okay. You'll see it. You'll see us, and you'll see the ice cream. I think that was it, though. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
And just also one quick final reminder, if you have not signed up for Remind yet, please, please do so, because that is the way we are going to communicate with all of you wonderful families throughout the entire year. So we sent home those half sheets during our open house. That information was on those papers we passed out as well. If you don't know how to sign up, please let us know and we'll be happy to help you.
I'm just noticing what Mrs. Herndon put in the chat. So ice cream is free tomorrow for everyone, kids, parents, and teachers. And it's the good kind. It's soft serve with sprinkles. Is that true?
Ooh-wee.
So teachers, there's just one last question, but it was really just a comment and kudos to all of you, thanking you for your time tonight and a fabulous first grade team. So I just want to thank everyone for, again, your thoughtful questions, and teachers for you taking the time for your detailed answers. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Have a good evening.
Bye.